Guys, welcome back for game number 7 of the Hunter series. Glad to have you guys here. Right now we are playing against a mage once again, so it's, we know the matchup. We know that we're probably going to lose board control at one point, and then we try to finish off the mage with our burn, as the mage does to some other people. We're keeping Glaive Zuka and Ogre Brute because Glaive Zuka is reasonable on turn 2, and if you get a 1-drop, it's amazing, and we did get a 1-drop. Yeah, Argent Squire, super good with Glaive Zuka, very nice. It's kind of like build your own mini-bot that your opponent could ping, but yeah, I mean, using a ping on a mini-bot early is not really something you want to do. Okay, so this is a really interesting turn that I want to talk you guys through because, yes, it's turn number 2, and you might say, well, I mean, there's not that many options here. It actually is. So option number 1 is to play the Fairy Dragon, go face for 1. He, on turn 2, he probably just trades into the Fairy Dragon. I don't really like that. You just give away your Fairy Dragon. Option number 2 is you play Glaive Zuka and you use your face and your Squire to kill it. I don't like that too much necessarily either, because then he just has to ping our guy and it's dead. Option number 3 is to play Glaive Zuka, use your face to hit into the zombie chow, and then go face for 2. Now, you might say, like, that's kind of the same, but it's not really. It's the fact that you deal 2 extra face, and sure, he can then hit his zombie chow in and ping, but it's all about squeezing out the little amounts of damage that you can somewhere. It does get punished by a Earthen Ring Farseer, but at the same time, it also just pushes him in the direction of sacrificing that zombie chow and his hero power, because if he doesn't do it, then next turn we can just use our glaive to kill off his zombie chow, and we'll just still have a 2-1, which is pretty good. So it's a pretty, I feel, it seems a very simple turn, but there's a lot of thinking about this, and it's always about where do you squeeze out that little advantage, like as a hunter you have to see, like, where are we going to make the difference with other hunters where they fail and we succeed. So always try to think your turns through and see that you maximize your damage output without opening yourself up to getting countered really hard. So yeah, in the end we do go for this play. Very nice. So we'll see what our opponent wants to do here. So he goes for a pretty smart play, I'd say. You can see that we are in the higher win ranks already, because I think 99% of the people they face in Arena would have pinged that and killed it with Zombie Chow or something. But our opponent chooses to hit in with the Chow to remove the shield and then play the Creeper, which means that the Creeper now challenges the Squire. Unfortunately, we do have a Shattered Sun Cleric in the hand, so we kind of punish him for being smart. Because, I mean, this is one of the only draws that makes it really annoying. I suppose a Silence and then our face to kill it would have also been nasty. But yeah, we're in a pretty good position now, because it's all about trying to force mage hero powers off curve, which is mainly on turn 3. On turn 3, if you can force the hero power, it's a good feeling, because usually they won't have a 1-drop to flesh out their curve. Alright, good stuff. So here we have a 4-drop, it's a beast, it supports our Ram Wrangler, seems fairly straightforward. We're going to be playing the Snapjaw. And then there is the situation of, do you want to use your face into one of the spiders? I'd say yes, because once again, it forces a hero power, which means your opponent has to dump 2 mana into your Shattered Sun Cleric to kill it. So this is what it's all about when I'm playing versus a mage. I'm trying to make it as awkward as possible. Mr. Mage here has a different idea though. He's gonna throw some bombs. Let's go. I really dislike this card. It's so much RNG, and I hate it when it works well for people, because I think that you shouldn't play it because this can happen. Yeah, we got lucky here, but I don't know. I dislike the card because it's like the biggest card that just says, like, well, I'm gonna close my eyes, hope I get lucky, and well, he didn't here. Okay, so there's 2 plays available. Play number 1, deal 5 face damage. Play number 2, trade into his bomber. I think a lot of you would say, like, well, you have to trade because your Shattered Sun is at 1 HP, so you have to trade. I disagree. If your Shattered Sun is at 1 HP, sure, he can ping it, but then he is going to develop a 3-drop instead of a 5-drop. He develops a 3-drop. He probably takes out the Ram Wrangler. You have an Emperor Cobra and a Snapjaw left versus a 1 HP guy and a 3-drop. You can go do something like quick shot the 3-drop, or just ignore it and still go face. Because you're dealing 5 face damage, so you're putting him down to 17. 4 power is going to survive. You can put him down to 13. If you hero power, that's down to 11. You do have your quick shot in the hand still. So once again, you can't always do this, but here I felt like we had the power to do so. And we get punished by Mind Control Tech. Mind Control Tech is such a devious card, man. So yeah, now we are like super far behind. I've explained this many times that Mind Control Tech, the effect is too powerful, I feel. It literally, like the text on Mind Control is like, this like 3 mana 3/3, which is kind of acceptable stats. It's slightly below average, but it's very acceptable. It's not like it's unplayable on curve. And then you go like, destroy one of your opponent's minions, summon that minion on your side. So it's like Silver Hand Knight type effect, summon a guy while you have a just a destroy enemy minion. I mean, if you combine all these things, it's like let's say a sabotage, destroy one random minion, plus just summon a random minion on your side. It's like if you combine that mana, it's like, wow, it's just mind blowing how much tempo and value a mind control tech brings that hits. Now you might say, yeah, Shady, but I mean, you need a comeback mechanic. Yeah, okay, but I don't want a comeback mechanic that incentivizes my opponent to fall behind on the board, right? I don't like to play the game that way. I think that Blizzard and Flamestrike, those things are annoying, but they're reasonable, right? I don't think this card is reasonable. I mean, Blizzard, it's powerful, Cone of Cold and Flamestrike and stuff. These are powerful, but Mind Control Tech is just, when it hits, it's ridiculous, right? It's just, the power swing is ridiculous. Anyways, that's so far my rant on MCT. I don't like the card. So we have 2 options here. We can start trading here, or we can just say, we've got the Worgen for 2 damage. We've got the quick shot for 3 damage. We've got our hero power that's going to start barreling Dawn on him. I feel like after we got hit by that Mind Control Tech, there is really no scenario in which we can get the board back. There is no scenario in which we are going to outvalue him. Face is the place at this point. It becomes a mindless face fest. Before you can clear some minions and say, okay, we will grab board control. As you guys saw in our previous games, there are a lot of games where you just grab board control the board, and finish the game from there. Unfortunately, if a drastic event like this happens, I mean drastic, I mean it's such a game-changing effect of Mind Control Tech. You are pushed into this situation. I mean, the mage pushes us into this corner and says like, okay, we have to go full face here. Every point matters, and the only way we win is if he just doesn't have healing and we get the reach to finish out the game. You have to play to win, not to not lose, because sure, we can take good trades there, and sure, you lose 1 or 2 turns later, but you still lose. Whereas we're putting ourselves in a position where we actually have a chance to win. And that's always what you want to look for. You want to have a chance to win. You don't want to go like, well, I'll go with the reasonable play. Because, I mean, going face there, it's not super reasonable, right? You're just using your Cobra face instead of killing the Snapjaw for free. But every point of face damage matters at that point, because you're not going to win any other way, right? You just got to forget about the other win conditions. You're not going to out-control them. You're not going to out-card them. It's just not going to happen. So we choose to play our Ram Wrangler here. This can cause some confusion. You might think like, oh, why do you guys play Ram Wrangler when you could have played Fairy Dragon? Fairy Dragon does the same thing. You know, it's a 3/2. This is a 3/3, both 3 damage. They're both probably going to die to the Yeti, so why bother? It's because the Ram Wrangler is 5 mana, and the Fairy Dragon is 2. So I want to make sure that next turn we can play the Fairy Dragon and say a potential Pit Fighter as well. If we play that Ram Wrangler next turn, you can't play Ram Wrangler and Pit Fighter. So we are kind of preparing for drawing one of our outs here, say Ball of Spiders, Pit Fighter. I mean, it's not like it's a great out, but at least it's better than drawing into, I don't know, a Money Berserker or something, just a low mana card. So our opponent pings the Worgen as expected, but then he has, then he has a Bomb Lobber. So he did shift gears, he's going aggressive now. And this is just the point where we need to just stall as long as we can to close it out with our hero power. We did just pick up extra reach, so this is what the cards are for. Quick Shot plus Arcane Shot is 5, plus hero power is 7, which means that we are 2 damage off lethal. So if we just play the Fairy Dragon here and hero power, our opponent goes down to 7, and we kind of just say like, okay, you got us, bro, you got us, you can win, it's fine, you know. If he has lethal here, he has lethal, right? I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. A Fireball would have ended the game. Fortunately for us, he didn't have a Fireball. So as you guys see, every like 12-0 series does require a little bit of luck here and there. It is still a card game. It's not because you are good at a card game that you will just win 12-0 every time, no matter what, right? So every 12-0 requires a little bit of luck here and there. Requires mainly good deck construction, good card quality, and good piloting. And yeah, the luck is a portion, of course, because if we hadn't drawn that Arcane Shot, we couldn't have closed it out here. But to begin with, I mean, he did have Mind Control tech, so I don't feel bad about this victory. This is about as cheeky as it gets. Opponent has 5 minions on the board, 3 cards in the hand. We finished the game with 1 card in the hand, but hey, his life total reached 0, and that is the only thing that matters in the end. You know, you can have as many cards on your opponent if you want. If you're dead, you're dead. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Game number 7 here, Infinite 7-0, good stuff, good stuff. Tomorrow, game number 8. Hope you guys are all excited to see how the Hunter series continues. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.